Also saw DJ Shockley, which Carter was like, dude, you know everybody. I was like, I know some people. I know some
Dude,
people, but
were you like, well, I do host a Georgia football podcast. Welcome to My Got a Podcast. I'm Jim Wood. In this episode, John Powell and I review Georgia's 39-34 loss to the Ole Miss Rebels in the Sugar Bowl. We talk about our experiences on New Year's Day and what stood out to us during the game. As always, remember to check out the newly redesigned mygotapodcast.com to see our latest merch. And you can follow us on social media at mygotapodcast. Finally, if you need help with your website or your online presence, head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs. Now, let's join the conversation in progress. um,
this requires a drink, Jim.
okay, I've just got water. I'm not even going to make the just as we predicted joke. Because the ironic thing is the Georgia Bulldogs scored about what we thought we would score. Um, so that part, I think we nailed. And I think part of the frustrating, or part, not frustrating, I think part of the reality is that was an all time performance by Trinidad Chambliss. He went absolutely nuts. And I will tip my
Yeah,
cap. I will tip my cap to him.
I tipped my cap to him in the fourth quarter. I don't know that I necessarily tipped my cap to him prior to the fourth quarter because
Sure.
of all the quarters for a Georgia team to lose, the fourth quarter is not the one that you think that we completely break down. But there were definitely symptoms all throughout. Now that said, the kid did ball out, but like, I know that you and I have been on text threads and beleaguered at ourselves, like that we should have been in this game, we should have won this game, all that kind of stuff. But like the
Mm-hmm.
reality is that they had so many drops in the first half that had those drops not occurred, like I have a feeling that this might have been a problem sooner than it was even in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Um, because they played about as bad as you could probably have played against us in the first half. And probably, like, I don't know, like, we're hard to kill. They kind of always say, like, in baseball, you live by the home run, you die by the home run. Well, you live by being hard to kill and you die by being hard to kill.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, yeah,
And a
we
lot of it is unforced. A lot of it was unforced errors on our part. A lot of it was just mental breakdowns. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos. Like Davin Bellamy had probably one of the best breakdowns with D-Bake.
yeah.
Um, had probably one of the best breakdowns of that final play or that final scrimmage play, I guess I should say. Um, yeah, man, there's just a lot of stuff that you just don't expect to happen. But what I will say is the first person that Kirby went out and immediately got was a safety in the portal.
uh yeah. I will say that targeting penalty was costly. I mean, period. So, and I know we texted back and forth, like it didn't surprise me at all when that flag was thrown. And I know you and I were texting back and forth, and you're like, it's not targeting. And I was like, yeah, it is. And then, like, I ended up ultimately agreeing with you. I mean, whatever it is, what it is, like, you got to deal with it. But it definitely hurt us. We definitely missed him, those targeting calls. So,
It is what it is. Poor situation with the way that the defense was setting up.
yeah, yeah. Um, it's funny, like you mentioned the things that Ole Miss was doing first half. Like we had been we've been talking about like what's gonna be the difference, like Pete Golding versus Lane. It was funny early on. I know Hunter was texting us, like Lane would have gone for it on fourth down when they kicked those first couple of long field goals. Um, And I kept kind of like waiting for like the new head coach moment to happen, and I felt like it did late in the first half when they ran out of time. You know, when they marched down the field, they're in field goal range, and then receiver doesn't go to bounds, half ends. So at that point, I'm like, oh, that was it. Like that was the rookie coach moment, and we're gonna kind of be off to the races from there. And obviously, that was not the case.
Yeah. I mean, it happened. It absolutely happened at the end of the half because I ended up sitting next to a guy who had been going to Ole Miss games and had just gotten back from their first round game,
Mm-hmm.
and he was an Ole Miss fan, Ole Miss alumni, all that kind of stuff. And so, he was super cool. All the other Ole Miss fans that I encountered were complete assholes. Sorry, Carter. Um, but he was a cool Ole Miss fan. And we were talking the whole game, and like I was baffled by Pete Golding not calling timeouts,
Mm-hmm.
particularly after our third down play, right before the halftime when we went. And I guess this might be a good caveat to just talk about the ineptitude that was the middle eight, that we have kind of harped on. And, you know, it was a good omen when we won the coin toss and deferred to the second half because that's like what we do. We win the coin toss and we defer to the second half and we double up the scores. Going into halftime. That's like the Kirby Smart staple strategy, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
try to put points on the board before halftime, go back in, get the ball back, and immediately score another touchdown or get points on the board. Um, so Ole Miss to not call a timeout when we went 3 plays and out and just allowed us to just burn clock. Kind of saved us in the end, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
because Golding had timeouts that were available to him. Um, and I think that had he used that timeout on third down to save 30 seconds, they probably would have been able to get off another field goal um, and steal some points away from us in a situation that, frankly, they should not have been able to do. Um, because, I mean, it's easy to sit here and to lay the game completely on the goal line situation at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you and John have talked about the defense could have made stops, which they could have, but I will submit a couple of key points in the middle eight and in the second quarter and the third quarter that could have helped the situation even more had the offense been more productive. So it's 12-14. We just scored a touchdown to go up 14-12. Ole Miss fumbles. We get the scoop and score.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're up 21-12. You like UGA's odds if you're a Georgia fan. I was completely ecstatic. I was calm inside because I knew that this was not necessarily over, but it felt over in the stadium. Their fans were dead. The guy that was sitting next to me, I think, had left to go to the bathroom to slit his wrists. Um, the guy that he was high-fiving the whole time behind us was very quiet at that point. Um, and so like things just looked really bleak from the Ole Miss side of things.
That was also when I injured my Achilles, by the way. I jumped whenever it was running it back when I landed awkwardly on my Achilles. Sorry, continue.
So we followed up the scoop and score with so that was a defensive stop, right? A
Yeah.
defensive points, defensive stop. We followed up that performance with a 3-and-out. They punted the ball and only took 46 seconds left off the clock. That left us with time left on the clock to get another score going into halftime, just like what we were talking about. Where if you put points on the board at that point, I think the game gets really beyond Ole Miss, and they have to start chasing the game and chasing points even more.
Yeah.
Speaking of after they kicked 2 field goals and then they scored a touchdown, tried to go for two. I thought that was hilarious.
I think you checked you I believe you texted me Ole Miss is chasing points, Jim probably. Or something like
hmm
that.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah,
That's what it felt like in the stadium. Like, oh, we went for two way too early.
right.
Um, But then we followed that up with a 3-and-out, and that led to the situation where had Golding played the cards right, they probably could have had another field goal because that kid could have hit a field goal from Bourbon Street.
Yeah, that kid,
Um,
he was unbelievable. Absolutely
yeah,
unbelievable.
and then you follow that up. So we kind of saved points there.
Sure.
We're still up 21-12. You still like our odds. You still like our opportunity. We know we're getting the ball back, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. We're gonna come back. We're gonna put some points on the board and put this game beyond them. Which at that point in the third quarter, you go down, you take a 4 or 5 minute drive, something along those lines, and put some points on the board. You really are talking about there's not enough time left for Ole Miss to get something going. We go 3 and out and give them the ball immediately back. So at that point, you're like, ah, crap. But then we followed it up with another defensive performance where ended up turning the ball over on downs. You want to talk about the soul leaving the building for everyone on the Ole Miss side, the powder blue side? That was a moment. Like, so the
Yeah.
defense has now generated points, caused two punts and a turnover on downs effectively. And they got out of the half without getting scored on. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, the defense could make a stop at the end, but what about all the times that they did get a stop earlier in the game and the offense was completely neutered and we
Yeah.
missed the field goal? Then Ole Miss comes back and scores a touchdown. All of a sudden, that missed field goal, I think, is really when things started to turn for Georgia because the stadium got really loud after that. They come down 63 yards in 7 plays and score a touchdown. We scored a field goal and we're still winning that game. So you go into the fourth quarter and we're like, all right, we're in this thing. But then think the wheels kind of fell off in the fourth quarter for us, both from a
Yeah.
defensive and an offensive standpoint.
So I want to rewind to back to how we got to what you were talking about because this is kind of what we were talking about when we said like, should we let's just record? Like I think we said that like 5 times before we record. Um, So, early on, right? So like you kind of you start the game, we trade punts, they get a field goal, we punt again, they get a field goal. Then like our offense kind of woke up. Although I will say it was kind of weird. Like on that first drive, we start out doing like the normal Georgia things, right? Like you're like gunners rolling out, you're hitting the tight ends, like on these short passes, and we're moving the ball. And then we took like a deep shot on the first down, and it like
Yes,
everything just felt off schedule. I'm like, what are we doing? That's not what we usually do.
100%.
So it's like we changed something. It's like we tried to force this deep shot that wasn't there. I didn't like
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
Okay, so I didn't like that. So then it's like at some point we realized, oh my gosh, we have Nate Frazier and he can run all over them. And so I don't know why it took us so long to figure that out. So we do. We start moving the ball. We score. Cool, great. Um, on the drive where we scored the second touchdown, the play. Oh, actually, sorry, I have to mention this, dude. The fact that Gunnar Stockton was like swimming in the end zone after his first touchdown, I feel like that. I so wish we had won this game, obviously for more than just this, but man, that was that. It's like now that happened in a loss, and so it'll be forgotten. But dude, like dove into the end zone and was like acting like he was swimming. So, anyways, I'll move on. Um, the second touchdown drive, though. So the play before the touchdown was the play where what I think was targeting, but I understand why it didn't end up getting called. I think just based on mechanics of the game. But I mean, Gunnar gets absolutely rocked, rolling out to the left, dumps it off to Cash Jones, and he gets crushed. I mean, absolutely crushed. Like I can't believe he. It's shocking that he got back up. But we know Gunnar. We know what his, you know, I don't know what he's made of, and so I guess it shouldn't really be surprising. So but then he runs up to the line, quick call, QB sneak, and scores. I wonder if we hadn't done that, which I'm not saying he shouldn't have done that, but I do wonder if we had taken our time, would they have stopped and reviewed the play for targeting? I'm not sure. Who knows? Um, but like, right. So after that, though, is what we're talking about of when the offense changed and where we started having all these runs of 3-and-outs, right? So we scored the touchdown. I believe it was the next drive was when they fumbled. We run it back. And then we only had the ball one more time in the first half, and that was 3-and-out. And in the first drive of the second half, 3-and-out. And we've also passed back and forth to each other. I don't know if everyone has seen it. There is a play after Gunner got his clock cleaned by the Ole Miss, I don't know, safety, like where he actually went up to the left guard to take the snap. And then Nate Frazier actually walked up to Gunner tapped on him and pointed out to him like, "Hey, you're not behind the center. Uh, Malachi Tolliver's over there." And then it's kind of funny. Gunner like kind of turns around, like points to him, like, "Thanks." um, I'm not sure Gunner was okay. Honestly, that's my like conspiracy theory. I don't know if that's a conspiracy theory. I mean, he had to have been at minimum like woozy or something, like. So I what I would love for this is the kind of stuff that like I don't have the stats. This is like a SEC stat cat or something. Maybe Josh could look into this. Like, did the concepts change significantly after that hit or what? Because I don't know. Like the output definitely changed.
I feel like that's a Graham Coffee kind of analysis, inside sources that might be able to shed some light onto what's going on behind the scenes. But I mean, it's hard to not question what's going on there.
Yeah.
Particularly given the fact that kind of along those same lines, there were some other videos that I've seen that I know that I was texting you and John and Josh, uh, just pain videos of our guys being open downfield and Gunner just not being able to pull the trigger or not seeing it or just feeling pressure, which frankly is also fair. The
Yeah.
offensive line was getting pushed around quite a bit. Gunner was being forced to make some quick decisions, but I do still think that there was time for him to make some of these throws, and maybe he wasn't physically able to. I don't know. But things changed, and then Nate Frazier got hurt, which this game doesn't count anymore, guys, because one of our best players got hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously.
Um, and yeah, I mean, when Nate got hurt and we couldn't, and I don't know, man. I'm swinging back into it's the offense
I know that's
situation.
okay. That's okay. I mean, like, here's the thing. I know, like, not everyone listening doesn't have the insight of all the texts we've been sitting back and forth. Because I think my harp has been, it's not just the offense, but that I don't mean like when I say that, it's not to like excuse things that the offense like didn't complete on, like didn't finish the drill, didn't punch it in at the end. I have major issues with the philosophy and the way we handled the goal to go, which we can get into that too. So like I get it. I just my one thing my harp is like, don't just be mad at the offense. Like I think to me the reality is we lost all three phases of the game.
We did.
So
We lost all three phases of the game. In the end, we missed field goals. We were inept on offense when it mattered, and also when it mattered, we couldn't get a stop.
yeah,
Um, that's really the period end of story, and I think that it's going to be one of those situations that's going to just kind of echo in eternity. That field goal at the end for us is going to just live in eternity, in infamy in the Georgia fan mindset. I know it may be the origin story for Carter's hatred of Ole Miss, because like I said, they were absolutely. I mean, I'm talking like in the stadium, walking around New Orleans. I can't tell you how many birds Carter got shot. I can't tell you how many like F Georgia fans and just absolutely acting like they were 1990s or 2006, 2007 Florida fans.
mm,
That was my experience in the stadium, with the exception of the guy that was sitting next to me. That was definitely our experience leading up to the game, and that was for sure our experience leaving the game. Um,
man.
it definitely was suboptimal, as you like to say. But yeah, man, the offense just we gave them life. We gave them life when they did not deserve it. I mean, when we were up 21 to 12 and we're getting the ball back at the end of half and we knew that we were getting the ball after halftime. I mean, part of me was like the routes on. Like,
Yeah, I mean
but
it was there. You're right, dude. I mean it was there for the taking. It was there for the taking. And then, but on your point, not a but. And on your point of the missed field goal was a turning point, I mean, it literally was. We missed that field goal, and then Ole Miss's next three drives, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. I mean, absolutely turned the game around. And then we can't leave out the rush the full punt team off the field. offense on and then snap it when we now know we weren't supposed to snap it. Like and
Yeah,
so that right there is like frustrating. And Kirby said it's on the coaches. And again, like we should have a massive coaching advantage with our coaching staff over a staff that has been cobbled together to, finish out a season. And I think Kirby said we got outcoached. Like those are his words, not mine. Like I don't know. That's a hard pill to swallow.
yeah, that is definitely a hard pill to swallow. That said, there was something that I heard Jake Fromm and Drew Butler talking about in relation to the coaching situation on the Ole Miss sideline.
Mm-hmm.
What they were saying was that there was a guy, I can't remember the guy's name, but he used to be the head coach for the New York Giants. John something or other, or Joe something or other. I can't remember who it was. They mentioned on I obviously wasn't watching the broadcast and didn't notice it on the I've in vain tried to quickly rewatch it before going to bed that night and
Ugh.
just turned it off.
Yeah.
Just turned it off.
You're like, I
But
can't watch it.
they apparently said that this guy was the guy that talked to the refs. So like there was somebody on the Ole Miss staff that was dealing with the refs and dealing with in-game like
Hmm.
for lack of a better description, they were just dealing with the operations. If you're in a church world, there's like the executive pastor, and then you had the main pastor that handles all of the actual faith-based preaching day to day, all that kind of stuff. But then there's a guy behind the scenes that handles all the admin type stuff, the
Hmm.
executive pastor. This guy was like the executive pastor dealing with a lot of the administrative coaching type things.
Interesting.
And I can't remember who it was, but Jake Fromm said that he was a very good coach, very solid, and basically like highlighted the importance of him as a coach when he was in the NFL. So I thought that was interesting from how they approached the delineation of duties and all those kinds of things.
That is interesting. It is.
Yeah, I mean, to say you got out coached by a staff that's missing key components to their coaching staff. Everybody's doing their first round, situation. A star player who's by and large still hurt, which when they fumbled the ball in the scoop and score, like there was questions around the Ole Miss fans on whether or not he was going to even play anymore because they all
Yeah.
knew that he was hurt and his shoulder injury is directly where he got hit, but he ended up having more carries than any of our running backs. So
Yeah.
and to your point about like, we decided that we had a Nate Frazier that we could use. That was something that the Ole Miss fans that were around us. That was something that they were talking about. They were like, I don't understand why you guys aren't running it every play because that's literally what we're awful at
Hmm.
is stopping the run.
Yeah, and we came out to start the game all like there were no runs on our first drive, zero runs. Um, and then once we figured out, oh, we can run, we did, and then it was like we almost overdid it because then like for a while the run like stopped working, and then by the end it was working again. I don't know. It was a weird game.
I mean, I think part of it is that Nate Frazier can't carry the ball 30 times. We're missing a backup running back, which you
Hmm,
know, which has been Chauncey Bowens, which Chauncey played in this game. He's a shell of the player that he was earlier in the season. Um, you also can't discount the fact that maybe some of our having watched Alabama get absolutely worked along the offensive line, um, or all along the defensive line, by that to me was just maybe our confidence in our new center. I'm drawing a blank on the kid's
Tolliver.
name. Tolliver. Our confidence on Tolliver when Bobo was still not able to play. Like maybe that was misplaced because of how awful Alabama seems to be playing right now. Um,
Okay, dude.
because it
So
wasn't it wasn't it wasn't the best game for the offensive line, particularly him.
yeah, so you just reminded me of something of like like there was a moment during the Rose Bowl where I kind of had like a realization, like an oh crap moment. So I mean, Indiana is just absolutely working Alabama, and I texted my dad and just said like I can't believe like what I'm seeing on my TV, and I said Alabama doesn't even belong on the same field as Indiana, and my dad was like I know, and then I was like, oh wait, what does that mean about us? So like I had that kind of sinking feeling at that point, like, let's see how this goes. Like, I don't know. But then, like you were saying that like we got 21-12, I was like, okay, no, we're good. I think you're right. I think the loss of Bobo, massive. Also, though, the loss of Gabe Harris, massive. Like the defense, while we were forcing a lot of the punts and such early, there still wasn't pressure on Chambliss. Like we never got to him, and we were bringing these like blitz packages all game, and I felt like they didn't really work. So I don't know. Like I feel like again, like a coaching thing, like their defense was able to figure things out. Like they did that defensive lineman stunt thing where the lineman just kept getting in the throwing window of Gunner and batting the ball down. Like they figured out ways to disrupt our passing lanes, and we never did anything like that. Like we just kept blitzing and we never got home. It didn't work. We tried it again on that 3rd and 5 on their last drive. It's 3rd and 5. We bring the house. We leave like man coverage on the outside, and the dude was wide open. Like, um, which I actually was yelling at my TV, like, let him score, let him score. I kind of feel like you just let him score and then take our chances, but what do I know? Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like you said, yeah, injuries. I guess it doesn't count, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the total yards gained, I mean, it was fairly even, generally speaking, across the board. We beat them in the time of possession, which is crazy to think about because we had so many three and outs and so many short drives. Like
Yeah.
our our inability to get the ball moving on offense in the middle eight is honestly where we lost this game, and it culminated with us fumbling the ball on a situation that just we had no business fumbling that ball in the fourth quarter. But um,
I mean, I feel like don't even like I get the whole. I mean, I get not I get, but like I mean, it's unfortunate that there was the miscommunication or whatever. You got a new center, he snapped the ball when he wasn't supposed to. But like, I don't even know why we're messing around with that. Like, just punt the ball. Like, we're not going to trick them. Just punt it. And I mean, that was a
I
huge
mean,
touchdown. It was a huge touchdown that they scored.
for me it's that okay, if you want to mess around with that stuff, we've been doing it all season long. It's like the new shiny toy for the season after Kirby saw Notre Dame do it against us.
Yeah,
Which, by and large, it's fine. Like I I don't have any problem with executing it. The problem that I have is that the players were put in positions and were very clearly not like the lack of communication on what to do, like the players not knowing what to do is the part that I have a problem with. And
yeah.
that rests on, I'm not sure who it rests on because we don't technically have a special teams coordinator, right?
That's a good question. We might.
Like,
I'm gonna do some Googles really quick. Carry on.
I mean, either way, like somebody is tasked with communicating, this is what we're doing in this situation. We're going to run the punt team out there and we're going to run everybody back off. We're going to fake it. We're going to hard count. We're going to do all the stuff that we've done literally all season long that pretty much everybody in the stadium was expecting them to try to hard count to get them to jump off sides, which I feel like everyone also knew was going to happen, and so they didn't expect it. So when they actually snapped the ball, like someone somewhere had to have been told, if this, then that, right?
Right.
So because the way that it was described by Kirby and the coaching staff was that if you see this lineup, like we saw it against Alabama, Gunner had a look on an alignment situation, and so we went for it, right? And he got over the goal line on a QB sneak or whatever. He got over the
Mhm.
yard to gain on a QB sneak. Like we've seen that throughout Kirby's tenure. When they see something on film and they want to exploit it, the onside kick. I mean, even though it didn't work out for us, they saw an alignment, and frankly, it was still open in the SEC championship with Justin Fields. Like
Yeah.
in certain situations, Kirby has been able to sniff out things that they're looking for, and they clearly must have been looking for something in that situation. And I'm guessing that someone thinks that they saw it, and that's why the ball was snapped. But somewhere along the lines, the clear delineation of what we're doing here was not communicated properly. Maybe it was Gunner. Maybe Gunner should have been doing something. I don't know. But
Yeah.
again, that kind of falls into that category of this is after he got rocked.
Yeah. Uh,
Maybe he
yeah.
wasn't thinking clearly.
Right. Update. Kirk Benedict is our special teams coordinator.
Hmm.
I think I remember when we did this onside kick against Texas, you were calling out how like Kirby was like
Oh yeah,
high
was that the
fiving and
guy?
celebrating with someone. It's him. Yeah.
That was the guy?
Um,
Okay.
I will say the fake punt that we executed, the actual fake punt that we executed was phenomenal. Phenomenal. That was incredible.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. It was absolutely incredible.
I was actually getting food for Carter, and God bless him. I missed that. What I do
Yeah.
remember is like, we're about to punt. It's fine. And so
uh,
I decided to walk, which by the way, I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to criticize the Superdome. First of all, absolute disaster getting in the stadium.
mm.
There was like we went with our fraternity brother Chris Alvarez. He was kind of my guide for the afternoon there.
Oh, dude, I didn't
Uh,
know that. That's awesome.
yeah, I didn't tell you. Yeah, sorry.
All good.
He says hello, by the way. Um,
Alvy, what's up, buddy?
Alvy, yeah. Um, but Alvy basically was like, yeah, this never happens. And I'm like, yeah, but
It's
it's
happening
literally
now.
happening right now. And then like he told me, he's like, once you're in, you're in. And then I definitely was not that way. We had to scan our tickets again. So I don't know if it's like a Sugar Bowl thing or what.
Mm.
But also like the seats in the Superdome are incredibly packed in. I mean, you want to talk about being packed in like sardines. Like if I had maybe ate a couple more po' boys during the week, I probably would not have been able to be in that seat. Um, but aside from that, like the stadium itself is massive. You truly feel like you're in a Greek like a Greek, you know, Colosseum or whatever, which is
Yeah.
funny because they've got the Caesars
The Caesars,
logo
yeah.
on the very on the ceiling. But the other thing that I'll say about it is that if you've got to go to the bathroom in the Superdome, you are SOL on seeing any action that's going on in the stadium.
Mm.
There are no
Yeah.
lines of sight. There are no lines of sight to the field, and there's like barely any TVs on the concourse. There's nothing in the bathrooms. There's nothing anywhere. Like it's and the TVs that they do have on the concourse are like I want to say approximately 60 seconds behind, like more
Mm.
so than watching it like live versus the radio.
Right. Right. Yeah. I remember you texted me that at one point in the game. You're like, when you were in line, you're like, dude, something just happened like a minute after. Like I saw on TV like a minute late.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was very painful. I mean, I had it on my phone and it was faster than what was on the monitors in the stadium.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, crazy. Anyway, sidebar on game day experience there.
That's all good. I feel like we need to circle back to that when we're done talking about the game, anyways. So
Yeah, that's
we kind
fine.
of dove right in.
We did. We just jumped right in.
We had a lot to talk about.
We've been gluttons. We've been gluttons on talking trash all week long. So,
um,
um,
you want to talk through like I mean, I kind of want to talk through again like the our last full offensive drive when we're down three. Um, I agree with you. I think Nate Frazier getting hurt on that drive changed things. Um, I guess even honestly though, even before that, like what happened? Like, did we flip a switch? Because like when we got down 10 points, it was like we woke up and then boom, the offense was amazing. Like, did we take a governor off? Like, I don't know. It just seems weird.
your theory of Kirby saying, "All right, you go do go do that stuff. We got to
Yeah,
win this game."
go to the offense. Yeah, we fumble, they score, then we go 6 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. Which, by the way, Zachariah Branch, laying on his back catching a touchdown was a sight to see. That was incredible. Um, then we fly down the field again and have to settle for the field goal. Um, and that drive, like, also frustrating on that drive. There was, I know Ole Miss fans are complaining about officiating or whatever, but like the, I thought both the pass interference calls on that drive were quite valid, and I thought the second one was actually a phenomenal play by their defensive back because Colby Young was open for a touchdown. We finally ran the fake the screen to Branch and then go deep to somebody else, and Colby Young like blew right by the defensive back and he just grabbed him and hung on for dear life and stopped him. Like if he doesn't do that, that's a touchdown, and Georgia has the lead. Which so you know what? Sometimes a penalty is a good thing, and that was a great example of it by their defensive back. It was a great penalty. Um, but then we get down there, first and goal, and this is what we were talking about before we hit record. What was it when we had first and goal? The expected win percentage was like 75% Georgia.
Yeah. We hadn't scored the touchdown. It was first and goal from the 5. And Gunner had run it to the 3. After that play, we had a 75% win expectancy, or win probability, or whatever, on ESPN's analytics,
Okay.
um, which is hard not to argue because you're basically saying you've got a 75% chance of scoring a touchdown here effectively.
And with this offense, we've been good at that all year. Like that's been our thing. It's like we get goal to go, we score a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But I guess that my main beef with this is that this feels a lot like the 2012 SEC championship game where you have a situation. And again, I think that it was Bobo was the coordinator in 2012, right?
Yes. Uh oh.
I'm just saying, Jim, like this is the second time in a very, very crucial, pivotal play where we get down the field, we're storming down the field, and we get to a situation where we need to do something to affect the game.
Yeah.
And in the 2012 example, everyone wanted to spike the ball so that we had another down to live. But Mark Richt said that we felt like we had a play dialed up, and maybe they did. I don't know. It didn't work out, obviously,
Yeah.
and things ended incredibly poorly for everyone involved. Well, here we are again. Fast forward, it's 2026, and we are storming down the field on a situation where we've got a defense on its heels. It's first and goal from the 3 yard line. Like
It's second and goal of the three, but yeah.
second and goal from the 3. Sorry. First and goal from the 5.
First and
Sorry.
goal. I got it up. I only know this because I have it up. First and goal at the 8. Gunner runs for 5 yards to the
Okay.
3, and then second and goal from the 3. And then we lost 3 yards because we handed off to Chauncey. And he lost 3 yards.
Right. So I guess that okay, Nate Fraser's hurt. He's out. Let's make that assumption.
Yeah.
Okay, so then who do you go to? Who's your go-to in that situation? Well, you've got Josh McCray, who's been the short yardage guy. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
why didn't he get a shot? Cash Jones has been clutch all day, which by the way, I don't want to hear any more sore words about Cash Jones
Dude,
at
seriously.
all.
Seriously.
Um, I mean, you've got guys that have gotten you yards, gotten you win. I mean, shoot, like we used to have a jumbo package where it was a tush push to Jalen Carter. Like we've got to have something in our arsenal that is going to get us 2 yards no matter what, 3 yards no matter
Dude,
what.
we have it this year. We've seen it. We did that overload off balance offensive line where there's like no receivers and all the tight ends in the world, and like what we ran against Alabama when we had Roger Robinson as a fullback. Like we have those plays, we have this package, and what's really weird to me is we get goal to go at the 8. Ole Miss has two timeouts. It was like we were more concerned with getting them to call their timeouts than to score. And then it's like we run the ball on first down, they call timeout. We run the ball on second down, they call timeout. Now they're out of timeouts, and there's 56 seconds left, or where there's a minute and 4 seconds left. Like you've already done this, you run the ball again, or you throw a screen to Branch, like something where like if we don't score, the clock is running. You don't. stop the clock. And I've seen Kirby's response to this as well. If we run the ball, then we're conceding the field goal for overtime. Like we were trying to win the game. It's like, well, but you still kick the fourth. You kick the field goal on fourth down. Like if you're telling me that you want to win the game here, then you go for it on fourth down. Like, I don't know. I don't get that logic. So I'm with you. I mean, second and three, shoot, get that huge jumbo package with like the fullback and the three tight ends and see what happens. Or run one of those plays on third down. And we'd seen that so many times. Like, I don't get the philosophy here. So I don't know.
I mean, at the bare minimum, you run a play that you know your team can execute. And
Mhm.
if it's not there, you know that everybody's going to do their job to just live to see another down.
Yeah, and you
And
and you and you
and
go down, you let the clock run, and then Ole Miss is getting the ball back with
exactly.
like 20 seconds left or less.
Exactly. And that's probably my biggest issue with
Yeah,
the whole series. Like I don't care that we got stopped. I think that it's absolutely utterly embarrassing to get into a situation like that and not be able to punch the ball in. We deserve to lose based on that one series alone. Um,
tell us how you really feel, JP.
I mean, it is. It's
Yeah, I
utterly
know.
embarrassing to not get a touchdown out of that situation.
On that
Uh,
defense, man,
it's
that
even it's
that defense is
even
terrible.
it's even more embarrassing. Yes, the defense is absolutely embarrassing. But I think that in that situation, you're as a coach, you are designed. You're supposed to do the least damage to yourself on any given call. You want to do the least damage to yourself in that situation.
Yeah,
Regardless of what it is, like even if we thought we had the right play call, if someone comes storming through the line and sacks the quarterback there and we fumble the ball, like that's
yeah,
even that would have been better because we still were going to kick the field goal and the clock's running. Like
right.
I don't know, man. I just the way that we executed it on that play in such a compact window when they have covered us all game long, regardless of where we were at. Like to me,
Yeah,
it's just Graham used the term coaching malpractice, and maybe it's one of those situations that Kirby learns from that. Um, he's. I guess we're all still learning. I mean, Mark Richt was in that situation in 2012, and he had been a coach for a while too. So um,
I hope
I don't
so.
know.
You always got to self scout. I hope that is a teachable learning moment and not a digging in. I was trying to win the game thing because like there are things to be learned from that sequence, and I hope they take that opportunity to learn from it. I don't know.
Yeah, agreed. But you know, and then on the flip side of that, then we still had to go down and defend them, which we hadn't been able to do all quarter. Um, tr
Got him to third down, got him to 3rd and 5, and then, whew, man,
Third and five, and we decided to do something that we hadn't really done all game, which was to just leave that man on an island. I don't know. And
yeah.
not only that, but with the alignment was bad. I don't know. Do we have a timeout left in that situation, Jim? Because I feel like that's something that the coaches also need to take a hard look. If we
Mm,
had any timeouts left, noticing that our safety is shading to the complete opposite side of the field, which DeAndre Baker is basically sitting there telling us. I mean, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you checking out Davin Bellamy and D-Bake going through the final plays and basically DeAndre basically looks at the alignment of the offense in that situation, and he basically calls out, okay, the short side of the field, he's in tight, so that means that his split is going to be a much shorter, his route is going to be a much shorter route, so he's not going deep. So basically, he's saying that from that point forward, you know that that wide receiver to the short side is not going deep. So where are the deep threats? They're on the opposite side of the formation. All three of those wide receivers, and he kind of runs through it that there's the biggest threat is going to be on the outside man for a number of different reasons. And
mm,
so then he goes and looks at our alignment, and the safety is way out of position from the get-go, like from the get-go. Never mind the fact that our cornerback that is also trying to make defense um, on one of those wide receivers, the guy that ends up beating his man, he's basically cooked from the get-go because of his positioning.
Yeah.
It's it's utterly frustrating to see that from a team that has prided itself on being a defensive stalwart, from a team that has the pedigree of defensive players and defensive backs like DeAndre Baker, Kamari Lassiter, uh, Javon Bullard. Like all of those guys have come through, and we have been able to execute at a high level. To see that happen in much the same way that second and 26 happened,
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
where our safety gets completely like, I don't know, gamed
Hmm.
is incredibly annoying and incredibly frustrating. And like I said earlier, that I think that there's no surprise that Kirby went out and immediately signed a safety.
Yeah, I agree. I will say, dude, the next play, Dalen Everett almost picked off Chambliss on the next play.
I don't disagree. You know, Dalen Ever, he was hot and cold. He got cooked too in that game. Um, but yeah, when that happened, everyone in the stadium, let me tell you, man, you want to talk about people that were living on edge on that play? Woo.
Yeah.
I think that was probably another example of them like
What are you
I
doing?
was exactly. I was like, what are you doing? Like you know that you've got this howitzer sitting on the sideline. He's just gonna go out there and drill one. So I don't know.
Honestly, dude, you're right. Like, what they should have done is run the ball up the middle once and like get the clock run down, spiking the ball or whatever, and like get the clock down. Because in the it what ended up being like one of the craziest endings, like all of this, we haven't even talked about the whole like the way the game ended. Like, dude, that was one of the craziest endings. I mean, twice, dude, twice the stage was pulled out onto the field.
Jim,
Uh,
I wanna take a minute and I'm gonna complain about the officiating. I
okay.
need to. I'm. They should have thrown flags on Ole Miss sideline warning, 15 yards
Mm,
twice.
right. That was a great video. I will say, I'm not. I think Matt Austin was the like the rules expert in the game, and I give him a lot of crap sometimes. So I will say kudos to him, because the broadcast team was like, "This is so ridiculous! Like, just let the game end. Like, the stuff's out here. Can we just end the game?" And he's like, "Well, we do have rules, and you have to follow the rules." So, like, I think you said that Carter saw it in the stadium. Like, there's a second left on the
He did.
safety.
To his credit, like basically, there's just utter pandemonium happening all around us. I, of course, am in the oh my God, let's get out of here as fast as possible kind
You're
of
like
thing.
you're in glass case of motion. Need to get out of there.
Yeah, so I'm like sitting there looking around, and Carter's like, no, 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 we can't go. There's 1 second left. I was like, what are you talking
Yes.
about? There's no way.
Yes. Oh man. So
Which,
yeah.
by
So
the
that
way, like, which, by
yeah.
the way, like, I still don't understand how this works. So all the chaos happens. Everybody in the stadium is like, what the, the Ole Miss guy next to me is like, what do you mean we gotta do the kickoff?
uh,
And then we proceeded to do an onside kick, which I thought you had to punt after a safety, but I guess you have to do the kickoff. I thought it was a punt after a
so you
safety.
can punt. Technically, you could punt on a regular kickoff. I think it's a strategy. Like most teams punt due to strategy.
Uh-huh.
Because like you're so far back, they want the hang time so they can tackle the return man. I believe that is why that generally happens. But dude, here's the thing. Okay, so on the first one, like I get it. Like the clock hit zero. Carter noticed it was 1 second, but the refs didn't, and it took a minute, or it took several minutes
Yeah.
to figure that out. So like I get that, but I will say this: you're doing an onside kick. If the receiving team doesn't touch the ball and the onside, remember what like many people learned in the Texas game. The second Cash Jones got the onside kick in the Texas game, like he's down, you cannot advance the ball. The clock,
Oh,
right?
right.
So
Yeah.
the second we recovered that onside kick, like the clock doesn't start. The only
Right.
time, so like I will say, like I'm not saying they actually should have throwing a flag on them, but I'm not saying that either because like and like Pete Golding, like dude clearly does not know the rule, doesn't know that rule, which I kind of find kind of funny because they dunked the Gatorade on him. He was mad, like he's screaming at the refs. It's like, dude, you didn't touch the ball. Like all they had to do, like from their special teams perspective, talking about special teams
Yeah, all they
coordinators and
had to do
stuff,
was
like
try to recover it.
all they got to do is try. Exactly. Just try. Touch it and the clock starts. They just sat there and the second we fell on it, boom, we got one more play. So like I
And
mean that
just run up
was
there and kick it.
yeah, so like I've seen people be like it was horrendous. Like I mean the end they got it right. Like I don't know like I'm sorry that you don't like the rules of football, but they got the end of the game right. Was
Yeah,
for what's worth.
agreed.
I will say I don't
So
know what the heck we were doing on our lateral on the first like on their kickoff. That was suboptimal. Uh, that can't be the way that was drawn up. But I digress.
oh, you mean when we brought the ball out?
On our return, yeah, where and we
Yeah,
lateraled it across the field and hit the pylon. Like I don't know what was going on there.
oh yeah, yeah. Dude, well, first of all, I don't understand why we even tried to run it out.
Yeah, you gotta. Did it bounce? This is the thing where like I haven't
It
gone back
did
to
it
look.
didn't it didn't bounce. We caught it in the end zone
Dude, well
and
you gotta fair catch that.
everybody in the stadium was like, "Oh my God, what is he doing?"
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. Like your best chance is to run a play, not a return.
Right.
So I
Exactly.
mean, we had 6 seconds left. You know, get one 20-yard out on the sideline, maybe, and go for a crazy field goal. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. But the whole thing was crazy. At one point, I was like, "Oh my gosh, is Cash Jones going to run this onside kick back?"
Dude, I was freaking out. Like I was screaming at my TV. um, okay, so my hot take on this though, like if you're down and you're thinking about this game, and I've seen there's a whole lot of Fire Bobo stuff, which shocking. Um, I was thinking like comparisons. You brought up 2012 SEC championship game. I'm going to bring up a great memory and compare it to a different game. Like I
Okay.
started thinking, what was the difference between this Sugar Bowl and the Peach Bowl where we beat Ohio State? And frankly, the difference is Ole Miss's kicker compared to Ohio State's.
Mm.
So if Ohio State's kicker could make a field goal, would you have wanted to fire, like our coaches? Like, do you want to fire Munkin? There's I see I told you Stetson couldn't do it without the 21 defense. Like, and like the difference is their kicker missed. And like that's part of football. And it was a great historical win for Georgia, on the way to back-to-back national championships. But like, man, football is really hard, and this 12-team college football playoff is really hard. Um, Having 25 days of rest when your opponent has played within the past 10 days is really hard. And just ask Ohio State about that. Like, they were in the opposite position this year as opposed to last year. Like, it's a hard game. This playoff is way harder than it's ever been. And I don't know. I just think like if you put all your eggs, if the only way you can enjoy a season is to be national champions, like you got a tough road ahead of you. I'll say that.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. And it is hard. I think that there's enough of a body of evidence for the bye week situation to not be it's not an advantage for you to play in the SEC championship game. It's not an advantage to win the SEC championship for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I don't there's so much evidence out there to showcase this that it just doesn't it almost defies logic that anyone is arguing any differently because as we said in their like preseason analysis and all those kinds of things, like you've been saying it for ever since the ever since last year's playoff kind of panned out that third place in the SEC is the sweet spot. And Ole Miss is third place in the SEC.
Yeah. 100%. The teams that have got a bye in the cultural playoff have been outscored 51-3 in the first quarter cumulatively over the first two 12-team playoffs for what it's worth. Um,
Yeah. Georgia didn't score a single point.
yeah. I will say though, like, and this is kind of like hindsight, like me before the game, like if I could talk to myself during the preview, like, look, I think Ole Miss is the best team we played all year. We played them twice. We beat them at home, and we lost them in a neutral site. Like that's football, Like it's not. It shouldn't be that shocking. I'm shocked because of the way it happened and the way it went down. We had that lead and all that stuff. But like when you think about it that way, I think it's not all. It's not all that crazy. The other thing is, man,
We
the
beat
difference.
everybody on our schedule.
We beat everyone on our schedule. There's no one that we played that we can't say we didn't beat. Um, and the other thing is in the preview we were talking with Hunter about Chambliss, and I think I had asked something about what happened because I mean he kind of fell apart in the fourth quarter in Athens, and so I'm kind of wondering did the environment get to him? Obviously he's grown up, right? Like he's played more games now, and frankly it was a home game, which like at some point like so for you, how lopsided was it? Like I've heard anything from 60-40 to 80-20 Ole Miss.
I mean, there was a lot of powder blue in that stadium, man.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a lot of powder blue, and it was loud. They tried to drown out Krypton, which they pretty much did. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of powder blue. The guy that I was sitting next to, I even asked him, I was like, "So you like go to these games like all the time? Like, why are you over here on the UGA side? Why aren't you over there with those guys?" And he's like, the tickets were cheaper over here."
mm, yeah. It's
And
tough.
I'll say it like if you were, I hope that this is a learning experience for a lot of different folks, but like I talked to a lot of people that were on the fence, like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna go to New Orleans and all this kind of stuff. And like, I don't know, if you're a person that travels to these games regularly, like you were sorely missed on the fandom side of things for this game. And trust me, I get it. It's expensive. I was looking at going to Phoenix and going into Miami as well, but I knew that we had to get past this game first, too, which I don't normally go to these games. I don't normally go to the away games. I don't normally travel, but try to make a game a day out of it with Carter, a weekend out of it with Carter. You know, we had a really good time in New Orleans in general. It was great. We
Dude,
went to the
major FOMO. I was showed Lily all of your pictures and she just kept being like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, yeah. So there was definitely some pros and cons, but I would say that I had grand visions of doing a lot of different stuff, but Carter had only visions of getting autographs at the team hotel. So doing what dads do, we swallow what we want to do. I did insist that we go to the World War II Museum,
Yeah.
which is a phenomenal museum. If you've never been to the World War II Museum in New Orleans, I highly recommend it, particularly if you are a World War II junkie, like we all 40-year-old dads are. Um,
Uh,
the the World War II museum was amazing. I don't even think we saw but 70 maybe 75% of it. And the clock, I was like watching the clock the whole time. I was like, well, we're supposed to be at this back at the team hotel at XYZ time, and we got there a little later than I think we wanted to, which probably impacted some of his autograph ability on game day. But we run into some guys on the day before at the team hotel, and we ran into some guys um, on game day there, and we got to see. We basically had our own like personal dog walk at the team hotel. I mean, Kirby Smart was like 5 feet from me, just like he was like being at the dog walk, except there was nobody else there. Like there was just a handful of fans and folks that knew that the team was there. There
mhm.
was Oscar Delp's family was there. There was there were some player parents, and I think that it was just like people were walking by and like, oh, team's coming out, cool. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it was a very intimate dog walk setting. I mean, I literally was able to talk to Stacy Steeles before the game and tell him to get those boys right. Uh,
Uh,
Colby Young, I will say, like straight up was high-fiving everybody, and that's great and cool. And I'm not saying that the players that didn't were are any lesser than, but I was I thought that was awesome. Like Colby Young was like high-fiving. He made sure to high-five everybody.
that's cool. That's cool.
I got
I
high
also,
fives from a lot of folks.
I also saw that you had a picture with Creepy Todd, which is just like so amazing.
I didn't get his autograph, but we did get a picture with him. I didn't think that Carter would want his autograph, but uh, that was the day before. So that
Okay.
was the day before. So I think that he was going to his room because the direction that those guys were coming from, I think that there were team activities that were happening in one section of the hotel, and then they all were staying in a section of the hotel that was cordoned off. Like you couldn't get into that section of the hotel without a pass. So anyway, but we were on the escalator going to that area, and I saw Coach Hartley come by and said, "Coach, can we get a picture?" He said, Absolutely. Yeah,
That's
come
so
on, get in
awesome.
here.
That's so awesome. I think you sent that, and then you sent one with Jeff Dancer. Was like that was like the
We
same day,
did.
right?
I
Wasn't it
saw
like right
Jeff
next to the?
Dantzler. Jeff Dantzler was there. Said, "Can we get one?" And he was so gracious. We saw Bryant Gant. We
Yes.
made some jokes with him about Lou Wood. That was amazing. I think that when I first came up to him, he actually was like super humble about it. I was like, "Coach, can we get a picture?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't know why you want a picture with me." I go, "It's an inside joke." He goes, "What's so funny about the joke?" And I
That's
said,
awesome.
"Well," so I went into the story about how every time Kirby's on the screen, he's right there next to him. And Lou, and I asked him if he knew Lou, and I was like, Lou always says that you just love that screen time. And he just laughed and laughed and laughed.
That's awesome. That's
And
great.
then I said, "You got anything you want to say to him?" And he said, "Ask him about them golf clubs.
Yeah.
We still got them." So
Classic.
apparently this week, I guess. Although if he goes to your parents' house, I guess he's not gonna. Your dad's not gonna be there.
That's too funny.
So we saw Bryant Gant. Also saw DJ Shockley, which Carter was like, "Dude, you know everybody." I was like, "Yeah, I know some people. I know some
Dude,
people, but
were you like, well, I do host a Georgia football podcast.
yeah." So we saw DJ Shockley, which shout out to his son who took our picture, which was funny.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah, DJ Shockley. We saw KJ Bolden before the game. And we also saw Lawson Lucky. I know that he was looking for his family in retrospect. Like when we caught him, he was like looking for his family and he was super nice about it. Took a picture with us. And then maybe like 5 minutes later, Carter was like, let's go see another section and see if there's players or anything. And so we went up the escalator to that section where the players are coming out, where they are eventually going to come out. And Lawson Lucky's mom stops me and asks if I'll take a picture of him and his family, and his brother was there. And I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
He just took a picture with my kid. I'll absolutely take a picture. So
That's great.
got to take a picture of Lawson Lucky and his family. Who else was there? I think that was I think that was pretty much the gist. I actually saw Coach Hill, who just
Mm,
recently left the team to go to Colorado State, I think it was. Um, we did see him the the day before, or was it on the game day? I can't remember. And I just remember thinking like it's weird that he's just hanging out, and it's funny to come to find that he's leaving. So like maybe he wasn't as involved as he probably would normally be, I guess,
right.
is my theory.
Right.
Because the team knew that he was leaving. So,
Could be.
oh, how did I forget? We saw the Boomin' Onion,
Oh, that's right. Yes. 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 Yes.
who was very nice and very friendly. I made sure to tell him that on the podcast that we we hosted his roommate
Yes.
and we were all very complimentary of him and that we were so proud. So,
Nice.
and I thought that he was the MVP of the SEC championship game, and he said that I hope that I don't ever see the field tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Wish that had come to fruition.
But that said, he was still a weapon out there, Jim.
He
Pinned
was,
him
man.
back.
He was. He was. He will be missed. He will be missed.
Yeah, exactly.
Which that's kind of the thing is it's like a lot of guys. It was their last game. A lot of DGDs and
But that's the way it should be.
yeah,
Like we're entering the era of college football where like you've said on the text threads, like I find it very hard to be dialed in like I was
yeah,
6 years ago.
yeah. It is. It's changed. It's a different. We live in a different world.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
It's
Yep.
a new
Yep.
sport. It's a new sport. Certainly a new
But
postseason.
yeah, we we ate the beignets. We ate the po' boys. I took Carter down to Bourbon Street during safety time, when it was not dangerous.
Right. Right.
I wanted to try to get him to go down, and I probably, maybe I should have forced his hand to go down to the river for the fireworks for New Year's Eve. But dude, I had a kid that was just completely obsessed with Stranger Things.
Actually, so that just reminded me that we we had gotten so caught up in like talking before we had hit record about all this stuff. Sometimes I think about like how should we start the show, and usually we just kind of we're in the middle of talking. But my original plan was to make a joke about that this was the Stranger Things finale review episode. Um, but so yeah,
Which,
yeah,
by the way,
we
like was like insane. But
yeah,
no spoilers, but
yeah.
Carter was definitely crying at a few points.
I'm we need I'm huge like anti spoiler. After we hit stop, I need to talk to you about something.
Okay.
There are people strange like crazy Stranger Things fans. Things are something is I find hilarious. Um, yeah, we Ella wasn't home for New Year's, and Lily just wanted to watch football. So like we were watching Ohio State Miami at a friend's house. Um, so we actually woke up. we we made the statement like we have to start Stranger Things on New Year's Day by 10 a.m. so that it will be over by the first playoff game. That was like kind of like Lily's demand.
Wait, what?
We started at New Year's Day morning by 10 a.m. so that we'd be done watching it by noon,
Oh, oh, oh,
so
got
that
it,
we
got it,
wouldn't
got
miss
it,
any playoff football.
got it.
So it's pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. I love Lily's approach.
She was like, "Well, we have to watch football. We can't
Yeah,
miss the playoff games."
right.
Man.
That's awesome. But
Um.
yeah, it was a good trip. It was a good trip to New Orleans. It was definitely cool just to see I don't know if you've seen it. I don't even know if did they talk about it on the broadcast. I don't know, but you go down to Bourbon Street and you look up, you can see the memorial to the terrorist attack.
mm,
We were there during the daytime, and then we were there during the nighttime. Definitely much better at night because it's all lit up and stuff. It was super cool.
oh. Okay.
I thought that was pretty awesome. Um,
That is.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what else to say. Um,
I.
I ate too many po' boys.
um. I think we'll do probably a season review. Well, not probably. We'll do a season review. My probably is probably timing wise, like when the playoff is over and such. And so we'll
I
take
mean,
questions and do that and such like we usually do.
this is a basketball podcast now, Jim.
Time for the basketball minute. Uh, talk about crazy. The basketball team tried to outdo the football team with crazy ending.
Yes.
With giving up a 4 point play to Auburn, uh, inside of zero point 0.7 seconds. Uh, as we said, they just wanted to go to overtime so they could score over 100 points again.
The cardiac hoop dogs.
Dude, your number 18 ranked Georgia basketball team.
Mm.
1-0 in the SEC, atop the SEC standings in SEC play, tied for first. And then also, I mean, hey, how about this? How about text message came through to you today from me? Hey, John, are you okay if we record tonight? Because we got to watch Georgia basketball tomorrow. So
Yes.
dogs taking on the Gators Tuesday night.
La Lorda going down.
Yeah, yeah.
I for one welcome our new UGA basketball podcast overlords.
That's right. That's right. Fletcher is like pumping his fist. He's like, yes, let's go.
Yeah, we gotta get Fletcher on to talk about everything because I would do it complete injustice.
Oh, too good. Too good. Yeah, yeah. Definitely pulling for the for the dogs. It's been fun. Um, I was looking through my notes to make sure hit everything. The only thing I forgot to mention is I do hate that we only got one touch for Dylan Bell in the game, the unofficial official. I got a podcast.
I mean, he's been in goal line situations, Jim.
So that's kind of what I'm saying is like I felt like kind of what we ran was different. Like not as many screens, not really like the jet sweeps kind of stuff that we usually do. And we did the one to Dylan Bell, which was and it was he was trying to throw it, and it was good play by him to throw it away. He saved yardage because it wasn't going to work. Um, but shout out to the unofficial official. Um, his he's out of eligibility, so that will be another storyline as we head into next season. JP is my God a podcast is on the we'll be on the lookout for a new unofficial official wide receiver.
We're taking applications, boys.
uh,
Maybe we can get Colby Young back for another year.
maybe. Um, oh, before I forget, before we hang up, shout out Coach Trillbill. The final numbers are in, and
A double whammy on the day for me.
a double whammy. So we tied in over unders this week. We actually tied in both. We tied in the over unders and in the pick 'em. So I was able to maintain my slight lead in both. So um, shout out, Coach. Thanks for everything you do for us. Uh, it's been a blast.
It has been a blast. It's always fun with Coach involved.
100%.
Uh, but yeah, another trophy on your on your shelf in the
I,
background with the
yeah,
hovering. We need to make like some trophies or something,
we
like a little
should.
Dundee or something like that.
We should make a little trophy.
It's like a little statue of like Ron Franklin or something.
Man, Coach, we're open to ideas on what the trophy should be.
All
Mm.
right. Well, I don't know where this leaves you. I don't know where this leaves you, Jim, but I'm going to be going through and rooting for Ole Miss against Miami to end the whole Justin Fields, Carson Beck comparisons and the Kirby quarterback controversies and all that kind of stuff. So I hope Ole
Yeah,
Miss beats the brakes off of Carson Beck and them, and Carson Beck plays his worst ever game against Ole Miss. And then I hope that Indiana beats the brakes off of Ole Miss to just humble them a little bit more and have them literally walk away with zero trophies except for the Sugar Bowl trophy. So, or
yeah,
Sugar Bowl and Orange Bowl or wherever, whatever, a Fiesta Bowl.
yeah. Fiesta.
Um, but at the end of the day, those trophies don't mean anything. If the SEC championship doesn't mean anything, then those trophies definitely don't mean anything.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I feel like you channeled Lily on your Carson Beck rant, so that was excellent. I know she's been saying the same thing. Uh, I also, I mean, on top of that too, like I like the lane left and they're doing this. So I think that's another angle as well. Um, so yeah, and I actually do think they'll beat Miami. I just don't think Miami's offense can score enough. Miami's defense is really good, but I expect Ole Miss's offense to be too much for them. Is my gut there. And then but I will say, I don't think anybody's beating Indiana after what I saw last weekend. So
Yeah, yeah. I think that there's statistical anomalies and outliers that happen in any season, but the consistency with which Indiana has played throughout the season is hard to ignore. And I don't know, they'll be it's mind-boggling to me. They doing this with a bunch of white boys, like a bunch of three-star white kids. I
the
personally
system
have
guys.
ties to Bloomington and the University of Indiana. Um, so I'll be rooting for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
Well,
The double exhale.
we wrap up another season, and we'll be ready to run it back soon. But we'll be pivoting this to baseball and basketball podcast, hopefully here in the not too distant future.
Nice.
Go Dogs, Jim.
Go dogs.